Well, hello, welcome to episode 143 of the Confident Live Marketing Show. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about how you can be confident on live video or video if you're shy. So I'd love to know from you whether you know somebody or whether you're maybe a bit shy, or we're going to be talking about the difference between being shy and introverted, because there is a difference, and all of that kind of stuff. Because I think a lot of people think that live video is only for the really extroverted, really bold people, the people with loads of energy, and that is not the case. That's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. Now, first of all, I have to give an apology. If you turned up last week, I had to cancel the show or postpone the show. Various reasons, but one of the reasons was that in the US, the times hadn't changed, the clocks hadn't changed in the UK. Anyway, there's all this kind of mix up, and so we scheduled it at the wrong time, and then I'd put in a meeting at that time. Anyway, it's what it was. If you are watching live, let me know if you are watching live, where you're watching from. I'd love to know from you, because this is not just about, it's not about me at all. It's about you. I turn up every week to support and help you. And this year, 2021, was always supposed to be this was going to be my year of community. It hasn't really ended up being like that for various reasons, but anyway, it's always been, that's always in the back of my mind. That is always really what this is about. I can see Melissa is in the house. Great to see you, Melissa. Hope you're doing really well. Always great to see you. Yeah, well, I think it's time to get on with the show. I've got a few other things to share with you, but I will be with you just after this. Hello, my name's Ian Anderson Gray, and in this episode of the Confident Live Marketing Show, we're going to be looking at how you can be confident in front of the camera, whether it's live video or regular video, if you are shy. Can you do it? Yes, you can. Let's get on with the show. Where is the button? This is what happens when you don't go live for a whole week. You forget where the button is. Here we go.
Welcome to the Confident Live Marketing Show with Ian Anderson Gray.
Helping you level up your impact, authority, and profits through the power of confident live video.
Optimize your mindset and communication, and increase your confidence in front of the camera.
Get confident with the tech and gear.
And get confident with the content and marketing.
Together, we can go live!
Well, hello. Welcome to episode 143 of the Confident Live Marketing Show. I hope you're feeling comfy, whether you're plugging me into your ears or whether you are watching on your phone or computer. Maybe you're getting on with some work, or maybe you're driving in the car and you're listening. Wherever you are, welcome. And I'm very excited that you're here, because this is a really important topic about that we're talking about today. It's all to do with getting in front of the camera if you're shy. But it might not be shyness. There might be some other thing that is stopping you from getting in front of the camera. Maybe you don't like the way you look or the way you sound. There's some hang-up that you have that stops you. And I want to share with you a bit of my story, but a few tips on why it's so important that you get in front of the camera and be yourself. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, I have just gone to my first in-person conference, Atomicon in the northeast of England, in Newcastle. I wasn't going to go because things have been a bit mad here. They've been very, very busy. And also, I was a little bit nervous about going to my first conference. But then I got COVID a couple of weeks ago. And I thought, well, I'm probably the safest I'm going to be, so let's go. And I did, and it was absolutely fantastic. Now, Andrew and Pete are great. I wasn't speaking this year. Andrew and Pete are the two marketers that run Atomicon. It was so well put together. It was at the Sage in Gateshead, which is right next to Newcastle. And a fabulous time. And I wasn't speaking this year. They have different speakers each year. I think at some point they'll be bringing on more speakers together, and I hope that I will get the chance to get on stage at Atomicon and enjoy all of that. But do you know what? It was actually really nice just to be a bit more relaxed and see and spend time with lots of people, lots of other people in the same industry or similar industries to me, and just get back in touch with each other and see what's been happening and be there for people, because some people have gone through really difficult times in the last 18 months and some of us have gone through really good times. Our businesses have grown, but we all have ups and downs in our entrepreneurial lives, and so actually speaking with each other is really important. Now, if you're listening to the podcast, I did a bonus episode yesterday which is all about this, and I'm not going to go over that again, but just to say I had a fantastic time at Atomicon, and hopefully as things start to get a little bit easier, depending on where you are in the world, we can start to go back to conferences and seeing people. So if you've just joined, if you're watching live, welcome. My name's Ian, and we're talking about how to go live or how to get in front of the camera if you are shy. Let's talk about something really important. Let's define shyness, or talk about the differences between being shy and introverted, bold and extroverted, I should say, not extroverted, because there is a difference. Now, I am definitely an introvert, because, and this is really down to where you get your energy from. So as an introvert, I do love being with people, but if I'm with people, I use up a lot of energy. And it's the same with live video, actually. It drains me of energy. And so with Atomicon, I had a fantastic time. In some ways, I was a bit of an extrovert when I was there. I was talking to lots of people. But today is the day after, and I'm, to be honest, quite tired. My energy levels are low, and I need to recharge my batteries by being on my own. Extroverts need to be with other people to get their energy. Now, over the last 18 months, we've been in the COVID pandemic, we've had to adjust. And so extroverts have had to become a bit more introverted, and then introverts have probably become too introverted. But generally speaking, that's what that is. Now, shy and boldness. Now, you can actually be quite a bold introvert. You could be somebody who needs to have that time on their own, but has no problem getting in front of the camera and just speaking to the audience, or you, for example, going up on stage or speaking to somebody, going up as a networking meeting and speaking to somebody directly. So in that case, you might be quite bold, or you might be an extrovert and you love to be around people, but you're quite shy and you'd find that difficult. That would make you feel a bit uncomfortable. So I think it's important to know the difference between those. And if you're watching live, I'd love to know what you think you are. Are you an introvert, an extrovert, or somewhere in the middle, an ambivert? Are you quite shy or bold? What are you? Now, I'm definitely an introvert. And I was thinking about the whole shyness thing. Actually, I used to be very, very shy. Now I'm a little bit less shy, but I am probably, I think depending on the situation, I can be quite shy. Getting up on stage, I can do that. Getting in front of the camera, I can do that. But that has taken time and practice. And so that's one of the things. If you are shy, it might be something that just requires more effort. And so we're going to be talking about reasons why why you need to work at it, and that's why that is so important. Now, I think, and I'd love to know from you what you think of this. I think often that shyness, and in a way, this is also, there is an element of this in being an introvert as well, because introverts feel this too. Shy people and introverts don't often want to be at the center of attention. But there's a bit of a caveat here. I think shy people generally never want to be at the center of attention. Whereas as an introvert, that's often the case. But I don't have an issue getting up on stage. I mean, yeah, okay, we'll get nervous, but getting on stage, and yes, I am the center of attention there, but then it's kind of controlled. Then I'll come off stage, but then if like the whole room was then surrounding me and you know, or I don't know, the example where I would feel very uncomfortable would be a surprise party. I would hate that. So, like, anyone who knows me, please don't throw me a surprise party, because that would be totally out of my comfort zone. So, but that can be a potential issue when it comes to standing up and being visible online if you're shy or introverted. So we need to think about this. Now, that is a really important thing to say, because you don't want to be the center of attention, but that's okay, because like in today's show, this isn't about me. I'm sharing my knowledge with you. Remember who this is about. It's not actually about you. It's not about me. It's about your audience. So make it about them. Focus on your audience. Focus less on yourself. Now, as a recovering perfectionist and an ex-chronic overthinker, that was a struggle for me. I would almost become self-obsessed. Not really because I don't. We've all got an ego. I don't think I've got a big ego or anything, but I was just worried. I was kind of worried what other people thought and all this kind of stuff. And so it ends up becoming all about you. And then your audience are out there waiting for you to help them and share them. And you're not turning up. So remember who this is about. Don't become self-obsessed. Don't worry about what people are thinking about. Become less concerned about you. Melissa is saying in the comments, shy at school, but better at drama at high school. Now, that's really interesting. I think drama and those kind of things, music, drama, those things really help. It helps you get out of yourself, because it's not about you. It's about portraying somebody else, or in terms of acting. But in terms of what I'm doing today, I'm not acting. I'm being me, but I'm sharing some knowledge with you. So it becomes less about me. So the next thing I want you to think about is know why you are doing this. Don't just go live because that's what everyone else is doing, or because you think you should. That's not a good enough reason. You are probably doing what you're doing. You're creating content because you want to make a difference in people's lives. Now, as well as that, of course, in most people, if you're an entrepreneur, a small business owner, you also want to grow your business. You want to make money. And that's absolutely, it's not just fine. That's what it's all about. Well, it's not what it's all about, but it's a massive part of it, because without a profitable business, you can't then help people if you're worried about money all the time. So growing your business, but it's also you want to make a difference in people's lives. And so that's a very general thing, but then think about what it is that you are wanting to make a difference in. So for this show, I have a real heart to help people to get over their hang-ups. Like today, this topic is really close to my heart, because I'm an introvert. I tend to be shy. And so I see people out there who are not going live because they think the platform, the medium, is not for them. It is. It's for all of us. And we need the shy people. We need the misfits. I mean, I'm not calling you a misfit. I mean, I'm a misfit. But we need more people like you going live. So be you. Be you. Please be you. Don't try and be somebody else out there. Don't, as we so often do, compare yourselves with others. Comparatitis, whatever you want to call it. It is the thief of joy. It really is. The thing is, this is absolutely so important. Not everyone will tell you this, but not everyone resonates or likes the loud and extroverted people out there. Yet we kind of think that's what people want. And there is something attractive about confident people. Don't get me wrong, but you can be confident and shy. Confident, if I can get my words out, confident and introverted. You don't have to be like this and hello and doing dancing and singing. I mean, I know I do silly singing on my podcast, but you don't have to do that. Don't compare yourself with others. Yes, work on your energy, work on the confidence. That's important. But you can be shy and confident. And that, I think, is something really important. You have a gift. And if you are shy or more introverted, you are likely to be, I mean, this is a generalization, but I think I'm right here. You're likely to be more empathetic and welcoming. I'm not saying like bold and extroverted people aren't those things. You know, don't misunderstand me, but use those gifts, use that empathy and that welcoming thing in your broadcasts. You know, your audience needs you to be you. Don't try and be anyone else. I kind of felt I needed to do that for years, and then I just thought, you know what, it's just too tiring to try and be somebody else. You know, if I'm not myself on these shows, if I then end up working with you, if you hire me as your coach or consultant, you're going to find out who I am at some point. I can't hide it. So one of the things about me is that I'm not very good at like hiding behind a facade. You know, what you see on these shows is pretty much me. This is me. And I think that's what people want. So don't try and be somebody else. There will be some people out there who will not resonate with you. That's totally fine. They're not going to be your audience. So grow your audience. Embrace who you are, your flaws, your mistakes. You might have a lisp. You might stumble over your words. You might, I don't know, there might be something. And don't assume that really confident people who look confident don't have those same kind of hang-ups. You know, we had Luria Petrucci on the show, who is a very famous and prominent live streamer. And she was very, very honest about the things that she doesn't like about herself, the way she doesn't like some of the way she looks and the way she sounds and things like that. But she turns up constantly, and she's a very, very successful live streamer. So embrace who you are, embrace your mistakes. That makes you real. Make it about these two things. These are the two, I don't know, the king and queen, whatever you want to call them. It's about the content and it's about the community. The content and the community. Yes, you can make it fun and engaging, but you want to do those two things. Make it about the content and the community. If you agree with me, let me know. Share your emotions. You know, like don't be shy about that. Yes, I think when you get started and be who you are and your audience resonate with you, I think you will be able to do that. You know, be truthful about your shyness, or if you're afraid, you know, like if you are feeling a bit nervous, say, oh, this is like my first live show today, or my fifth live show, and I'm still feeling a bit nervous. And if you make a mistake, like when I stumble over my words, I just sometimes like joke about that. That's okay. Be truthful about that. And let's talk about the comments. Okay. Now, you're going to have different issues here. Don't get obsessed with the comments. Either you'll have nobody watching or no comments, or you'll have loads of people watching, or too many. You know, we can get obsessed by the comments. And we talked about this on the show before. If you have very few people watching or very few comments, yes, there are things that you can do to enhance that and grow your show over time. But don't obsess over those things, because, of course, you've got the replay viewers, the people in the future who are watching. By the way, if you're watching the replay, hello, put hashtag replay in the comments. It'd be great so that I know you're here. Or, of course, if you're repurposing into a podcast, if you're listening now, if you plugged me into your ears, you're listening in the future. So I have created this content for the future. And because I am a recovering perfectionist, I find this way of creating content works really, really well, because it's never going to be perfect. I've scheduled this in advance. I knew I was going to go live at 5 p.m. in the UK on Thursday. So I'm doing it. I've done the research. I know what I'm going to be talking about. I'm creating it. And at the end of this, I've got a piece of content that will be turned into a blog post, into a podcast, into pre-recorded videos, into video babies that I can kind of like put around all across the various places. So don't get obsessed by that. Sometimes it can be disheartening if you don't have many comments. And yes, there are ways that you can do to improve that. We've talked about that in the past. Or they can be, some of the comments may be negative. Now, this hardly ever happens to me. Sometimes I get a few spam comments, particularly on Twitch, or sometimes I will. Yeah, generally speaking, I very, very rarely get negative comments. Of course, the one thing that you will find, if you're like me, like most people, You might have lots of really positive comments, but which comment do you obsess over? Do you get really stressed about? It's the negative comment. And unfortunately, if you are female, sometimes you can get some like really unhelpful comments, usually from the male species. And I think it's awful. But whatever, if you do get those comments, you need to ignore them. What can really, really help here, though, is getting a moderator, and whether it's like your assistant coming on, or if you have somebody in your community who loves what you do, why don't you get them to go into the comments, and if they can get involved, they can reply to comments, they can block any horrible spammers as well. So get a moderator to help if you find that just too distracting or disheartening as well. What if you can't actually press that go live button, getting in front of the camera? You're just, we've talked about all these things which are so important, like thinking about the community, thinking about the content, thinking about your audience. That's really important. And having a plan. Start small. Before you go live, why don't you just practice with something like Instagram stories? Just go on camera for like 10 seconds and just share something that was going on in your life. This is one of the things that two marketers who were speaking yesterday or on Tuesday at Atomicon said. This is Rob and Kennedy, who are email marketers. They said, what was the least boring thing that you did yesterday, and make a story out of it. Share something. So what was the least boring thing that happened to you yesterday? Do an Instagram story, like 10 seconds, 15 seconds, share that, get in front of the camera. What's the worst that's going to happen? It's going to be gone in 24 hours. So do that. Do a private live just on your own, or go into a group, or get somebody else. Use a tool like Restream or Ecamm Live and bring in a guest. It's so much easier that way. Practice that way and start to do it slowly. I will be honest with you. Live video is my business now. And I might appear really confident in front of the camera, but I still have hang-ups occasionally. I still think, oh my goodness, I'm going live. What if nobody watches? What if, these kind of like cycling negative thoughts, they do occasionally still pop up. And I've done it enough now to be aware of that and just to remove them. But when you start, if you have any of those negative thoughts, just remember about why you are doing this, and then think about other ways of helping. Now, the next thing is something that you might not actually think too much about, but think about your environment. You want to feel comfortable. You're going to feel uncomfortable, okay? But you want to try and reduce that uncomfortability, if that is even a word. So make it a warm environment, a cozy environment. I've got a nice little fake plant here. I feel happy in this office and in my studio. So make it warm and cozy. If you feel comfortable, it's just going to make it easier for you. Invite your audience into that space. Now, I saw a fabulous, I'd love to have her on the show actually, amazing live broadcaster, Kathy Hester, and she does a lot of food. She invites you into her kitchen, she cooks, and she did a whole talk in the Ecamm boot camp. I'm not sure if it was last year or the year before, but it was all about if you're shy, how do you get in front of the camera if you're shy? And that was one of her takeaway. That's the takeaway I got from her talk, which is think about your environment. Think about your energy levels as well. We're nearly finished. This is really important. Think about your energy levels. When I go live, and I'd love to know from you watching or listening, when you go live, how do you feel afterwards? You go live for half an hour? How do you feel? Well, I used to sing professionally, classical singing on the stages. The way I would feel afterwards, I would feel really nervous before I went on stage. Then I'd go on and I'd get this buzz. My adrenaline would be pumping through my veins. And at the end of it, I would have this high and I'd feel great. But then I'd slump down and my energy levels would deplete and I would feel exhausted. Well, that's pretty much how I feel at the end of these live shows. I feel high. I feel particularly if it's gone well, I feel really happy and excited, and that's great. But quite often afterwards, I would just feel tired. And I have to admit, I was live producing Janet Murray's event last week, which was her Courageous Content Live conference, and we were basically live streaming 6 hours every day. I had to lie down. I kid you not. I had to go at the end of the second day. I went into my bedroom. I closed the curtains. I put a sleep mask on, my noise cancelling headphones that I'm putting on, and I put this kind of like sleep sound thing that I listen to on Brain FM. And I just lay there for about 45 minutes. I was just so exhausted. So, like, I know that I have to think about my schedule really carefully so that I'm not putting too much in one day. Now, that's fine. That, I do probably about 3 or 4 live production events every year. I don't want to do any more than that because although I love them, I just have to be aware of my energy levels. And so that's what you need to think about. So you'll probably feel exhausted. You'll probably feel on a high as well. Just think about that. Think about your environment. Think about your energy levels, your schedule, all those things. So those are all the things that I would think about. If you are feeling shy, nervous, if you're introverted, don't feel that you can't utilize live video. Now, it may be that you are so chronically shy or very, very introverted that live video is never going to be your perfect medium. And for some people, I do think that might be the case. And maybe in that case, podcasting is what you need to do. But I still feel you have a voice because there were other people out there. It might be other shy people who just want to hear from you. They want to hear the way you say it. You might have a more softly spoken voice. And so I think it's important that you do find your medium and you do find your voice. And I think for many people that is live video, because with live video, it does not lie. You can't, or if you do put on an act, if you do put on a facade, it's really obvious. It shows your humanity. It shows who you are. And I think that is absolutely vital. If you want to put across the way you are as an entrepreneur or in your business, that is absolutely vital. Well, that's all I wanted to share with you today. It's a shorter episode, which is fine because there's no point going on further than you need to do, if you've shared everything that you need to share. And actually, quite honestly, I feel quite tired because it's been quite a busy week with Atomicon and stuff like that. But I'd love to know from you what you think about this. Reach out to me. You can contact me at iag.me/contact. That's iag.me/contact. Now, I will be getting back into my regular live shows. I've not been so consistent recently. There's been a lot of things happening. Yes, okay, I had COVID, but I've had other things going on. So usually this show goes live every Tuesdays and Thursdays. We've not been doing that, but my plan is to get back to that. We're still absolutely fine for the podcast because the podcast, basically, if you're listening to this, you'll be listening in January. So we're doing really well there. I'm actually recording this live in November, if you listen to the podcast. But this is why I love doing live video and turning it into a podcast, because it's just a great way, a very efficient way of creating content. And Melissa is busy too. Well, that's good. It's good. Hopefully it's in a good way. That is it for this week. I will let you know in my community, on my Facebook page and other places, what the next live shows will be. It's probably going to be just me, but I do have some amazing guests lined up, which I can't wait to share with you. So I'm not going to tell you any more than that. But that's what I'm going to tell you for today. Anyway, that's it for today. I just want to leave you with this. You need to be okay with who you are. Get in front of the camera, and I encourage you to level up your impact, authority, and profits through the power of confident live video. See you soon. Bye.
Thanks for watching the Confident Live Marketing Show with Ian Anderson Gray.
Make sure you subscribe at iag.me/podcast so you can continue to level up your impact, authority, and profits through the power of live video.
And until next time,
Toodaloo.